Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Mindy. This is See Mindy Mom, and today my husband and I are going to give you a little update on our household finances and talk a little bit about our budget. Stay tuned. Okay, you guys, it is a gorgeous day in Tulsa, America. We are outside getting a little sunshine and some vitamin D.
Hello.
With these little munchkins here and about to go pick up their sister.
We saw a
And
scissortail.
you saw a scissortail? Scissortail flycatcher is the official state bird of Oklahoma. Oh, okay. We'll have to look for him and see if we can find him. But this is just a little intro to the video you are about to see. My husband and I are starting to share our household finances and budget with you guys. We're still kind of finding our way through as far as how to share this with you guys. Okay. So we are going to try it this way. At the beginning of the month, which I realize it's the middle of the month already, we are going to just give you an update of where we stand in our budget and how the previous month went, and places where maybe we need some work or places where we are doing a good job, and maybe even talk a little bit about some of our financial goals and how we're doing there. And then a couple of weeks after that, we will come back and film another financial video where we talk specifically about one or two things, like the difference between long-term and short-term savings for us in our budget, and where we save and where we splurge. And in that video, we will also answer any questions that you leave for us on our monthly recap videos. So you are about to see a monthly recap from my husband, and if you have any questions that you would like to ask us, feel free to leave them in the comments and we will do our best to answer them. So that's just how we are going to move forward. We do have a way that we have done our finances and done budgeting since we've been married. It's been something that's been important for us, and so we just want to share how it works for us with you guys and hope that it's helpful to you. So here is how we did last month.
All right, hey guys, I am going to take just a few minutes and walk through our budget. I'm going to do a quick recap of just exactly how our budget works, and then I hope to spend the majority of the time just doing kind of a recap of how we finished the month of February. So real quick, I'll just recap. We went over this in a vlog, I think last month, but you're looking at basically what we budget per month. So $7,000 is our take-home money after taxes. After we put $500 a month into our HSA, after we put $500 a month into a 403B, pay taxes, do all that, we're left with $7,000. So categories: mortgage, pretty self-explanatory. This is our monthly payment for mortgage plus insurance and taxes. Utilities is going to be gas, electric, City of Tulsa, cell phones, that kind of stuff. Tithe is what we give to our church, as well as a few additional charities and faith-based organizations. Life insurance is, again, pretty self-explanatory. Auto is going to be gas. It's going to be insurance. It's going to be typical maintenance as well for the car. House is, for us anyway, primarily just outdoor stuff. So we pay to have the yard treated for fertilizer and weed treatment. Just recently we signed up for a service for mole and gopher treatment because they're just tearing up our yard. So it's just mostly outdoor stuff for us. Recreation is our fun money. So it's going out to eat, it's going to the movies. We'll start the month with a little bit of cash each month as well that we can use pretty much for whatever we want. Vacation, pretty self-explanatory. Activities, this is for the kids. So Brick had his first soccer practice today, so we had to pay to sign him up to play soccer. McKenna's in gymnastics, Ruthie's taking piano lessons, that sort of thing. Long-term savings is money that we don't plan to touch. So that is money. It's truly for emergencies. We hope to just continue to build that until something bad happens and it occurs that comes outside of our budget, and that would be the only time we would dip into that. Clothing, pretty self-explanatory. Consumables, that's all groceries plus household products and things like that. Miscellaneous really is truly miscellaneous. It's haircuts, it's stamps, it's dry cleaning, really truly miscellaneous things that really don't fall into any other categories. Short-term savings for us is savings, but it's savings that we're going to spend. And so right now we're trying to save up money for new furniture in the living room. So we would take that out of short-term savings. Roth IRA is an IRA we have in addition to the 403B. A Roth IRA is money you put in after you've paid taxes. So you get your paycheck and then you can put money into a Roth IRA. Presents, pretty self-explanatory. So I'm going to move over here now to show you how we ended the month of February. Some of this, if I didn't explain, might be a little confusing. The first one is a good example. So you'll notice we have a balance of a little over $1,100 in mortgage. And basically the reason for that is we try to pay about $200 a month more than we have to. So currently our payment is $1,700 a month. That's what we have to pay, or the bank's going to come and get us. We've been paying $1,900. You'll notice in our budget, we're only budgeting $1,820. I believe last year we were only budgeting basically right at $1,700, so that's one we've increased. It's our goal to work that up to $1,900, so it's written into the budget. And that will happen over time as our monthly take-home increases. But for now, we've got some surplus money just come from various places. For instance, we got our tax fund recently, so I put a little bit of extra money into the mortgage. So the extra $200 a month that we're paying, part of it you can see is in our budget, part of it's not, and that comes from the surplus money. So again, the idea would be that by the end of this year, there's not going to be much of a surplus because we will have paid it down as we're paying that extra money each month. Utilities, pretty self-explanatory. This is one that could go into the negative in a month where you got a really, really high electric bill, and then obviously you got months where, typically fall and spring where electric and gas bills are a lot lower. So this one can really fluctuate, but we've budgeted in such a way that at the end of the year we anticipate this being around zero. Tithe is another one that might be kind of an eye catcher. It shows we're at a negative $1,073, and the reason for that is that we front-loaded, I think that would be front-loaded, not back-loaded, front-loaded a bunch of our 2019 charitable giving at the end of 2018, and we did that for tax reasons that I don't really have time to go into, but I love to do taxes. I love to talk about taxes, so if that's an interest that you have, or maybe more likely questions that you might have, leave them in the comments, and I would love to go more in depth. But basically, we paid a bunch of our charitable giving in 2018 for 2019. So each month you're going to see this number get closer to zero and then eventually have a surplus. And then in 2020, we'll basically we itemize our taxes every other year. So we'll itemize. We did itemize in 2018. We will itemize in 2020. We will not this year. So again, you'll see this number slowly go to zero as we get through the months of 2019. Life insurance is one that gets paid at various times, so it's not reflected on this budget because just this week I cut a check to Northwestern Mutual for one of our life insurance funds. So when you see our March report next month, this number will be lower, and then it'll start to creep back up, and then we'll have another big bill that comes in. And again, over the course of the year, when we get to the end of the year, this number should be around zero. Auto is one that fluctuates a lot. Part of that is because we pay our auto insurance twice a year. So we just paid my insurance bill in January, Mindy's in February, and thus we are in the negative. But we won't have another insurance bill due for the summer. So again, this is a number that's going to slowly creep back into the positives, assuming we don't have some big auto expense, which we're not hoping for. House. This is one, so if you watched our last video, you know our income has changed, so we have a new budget beginning in March, so you'll hear a little bit more about that when we do our March report. But basically, house is one that we are going to start budgeting for beginning in March of 2019. So thus right now the balance is zero. Next month in our report you'll see some money there. Recreation is one that, we'd like to keep a surplus in. It doesn't always. You'll notice here, that may seem like a lot to you. $245 is not that much when you think about a family of five. Go out to eat a couple times. You have a date night once or twice a month. That goes really quick. So back when we were on 2 full-time incomes, that number was a lot higher. So any chance we get to pad this, we do. That comes from... we call it our MAD money. So if Mindy substitute teaches a day, or maybe I do a funeral or a wedding and I get paid an honorarium, we'll throw some extra money there, knowing that what we budget for recreation, we typically are spending more than that in a month. But if this gets into the negative, then we know we're going to have to really, really cut back. But right now we're in pretty good shape, so hey, we can let loose a little bit and have some fun. Vacation. This number, we really don't put a lot here. Remember, we're $105 a month. Isn't really that much. You take a family of 5 vacation and that'll go really quick. But as you know, we do a whole lot with credit card points, and so most of our vacations are paid for with credit card points. So I just booked us 5 nights at the St. Regis, just north of Puerto Vallarta. Would have cost us about $6,000. It's a high-end luxury resort, but did it for points, so we won't pay a dime when we go and do that. But we will buy food and drinks, and so obviously we'll need some money in the vacation fund. And honestly, I can't remember, but I think the reason you see a big jump here, I think I put just a little bit of our tax refund money toward vacation. Kids activities is another one like house, where we are beginning to budget for it in the March budget. Previously, where we were taking it from miscellaneous, we went ahead and wrote it into the budget because of all the different activities our kids are now doing. So it's zero now, but we'll start to see some money there in the coming months. Long-term savings, I think we mentioned last time we had borrowed just a tiny bit. We paid that back from tax refund, and we've begun to budget just a little bit. Again, you're only seeing $70. That's not a lot, especially if you don't have any money in savings. We have a pretty good amount in savings we feel good about, so we're comfortable not putting a lot into savings currently. Again, hopefully as our salaries increase, we would begin to put more money there. Or if something came up and we had to spend a bunch of that, then we'd have to really tighten our belts and focus in on putting more toward long savings. Clothing is another one that you're going to see fluctuate just based on the time of year when kids need new clothes. Obviously, we're running a negative right now. We don't like to do that, but it happens. So, that just means in March and April, we're probably going to be just a little bit tighter and hold off on that new pair of shoes we may have wanted until we see this number get back into the positive. Consumables is one we just, again, as our budget changed in March, we increased the amount we were putting there. Just realized what we had been doing really wasn't enough, and so I think you're going to see this number creep back into the positives. We were running, as you can see, a pretty big negative at the end of 2018 and into January of 19. I believe this is another area I put a little bit of our tax refund money to catch us up, and with the extra money we're budgeting there, we should be in pretty good shape. Miscellaneous again got a negative. We're not too concerned about negatives because it's not a cash flow issue. You can see down here. This is basically how much money we have in the bank. So we can afford to run a negative, but we don't want to run a negative in every category. We don't want to see those negatives increasing each month. So this number, it's going to fluctuate between negative and positive. Short-term savings. This is one we really want to start increasing. We've been doing a lot of the yard stuff out of this, as I just mentioned. We've written that into the budget under house up above there on the spreadsheet. So now that those expenses aren't coming out, hopefully this one starts increasing until Mindy finds that furniture she wants, and then we're going to spend that money and take it back down to the negative probably. IRA is another one we hadn't been putting money towards, but we are starting to put a little bit there, so you're going to see that increasing in the coming months. Presents, we just got through Christmas, so hey, January was brutal, down negative 540. Started to catch up a bit. I think we put 1 or 2 days of Mindy's substitute pay in there, and short of a kid's birthday party here or there, shouldn't be spending too much here. So this one is going to start to creep back in. This is another example where you may run negative for several months, maybe even half a year, but once you get to the summer, starts getting to the positive, then hopefully you start saving up knowing that Christmas is coming. And again, as long as you don't have a cash flow issue, as long as you have money in the bank, you can afford to run the negative. The goal is that when you get to the end of the year, none of these categories are in the negative, and certainly the goal would be, if some of them are, others of them aren't, so that at the end of the day, or I should say the end of the year, this number right here, which is basically money in the bank minus what we have in savings, because remember, we don't want to spend savings. We want this number to be in the positive every month ideally, but certainly at the end of the year. So we finished February in the positive, so we feel good about that, and hopefully when we get to the end of March, we'll see that number even just a little bit higher. So there's a snapshot of the budget, and we'd love to field any questions you might have.
All right, you guys, there you have it. Like I said, we would love it if you have any questions you want to ask us, if you would leave them in the comments section, and we will come back in a week or two and answer your questions and also talk about another topic specific to our household finances. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for watching. I'd love it if you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you guys really soon. Bye.